Okay, the next thing that we are gonna talk about is about creating a style rule for classes. We have learned that we can create a class attribute to the img element, specifying the image display on the About Us page from last chapter. So we can actually create a class equip. And basically what it says is that this element can display the equipment1.jpg image. So the first attribute and value, which is class equals equip, assigns this element to the equip class. So in the equip class, we can have we can display the equip2.jpg, equip3.jpg, and all that. So they could also be included in the class equip, because remember, all of these pictures, because they're all pictures, so they can belong to one class and they all have the same properties. So then after that, we can actually put the class equip attribute and value in each img element that we are going to have. That means that that if we create this equip class, that means that all the elements that we have assigned, like image 1, 2, 3, they are all going to be assigned to the equip class, and they are all going to have a single style rule. So we can put some rule for that class, and for example, we can have the padding right 20 pixels. So that is basically means that we are using a class name as a selector and include a period before the class name. This is basically similar to the way that we include a number sign with an ID selector. So in the class selector, we just put the period rather than number sign. And then we are going to put 20 pixels of padding to the right of the 3 images. So it's going to apply to all those images. So it's going to apply to that class, to the equip class. So all those images will have the 20 pixel of padding to the right of them. So that's what it means. Another concept that's important to learn is using the float property. What that means is that it lets you position an element to the right or left of other elements. So the valid values for the float property are basically right and left, indicating where to display the element. You can actually go to page 166 and you can see that in there we have applied the float to the left for the equip class. That means all the images will have, so the text will actually come to the right side of the image, and then the image float to the left side of the text. So we actually have the float to the left, and then so by that it shows that the paragraph or all those text that we have is on the right of the image, and then the text floats to the left of the image. The image floats to the left of the text. You can actually practice this, but if you float an image to the right or left of the element containing the text content, basically the effect would be that the text would be wrapped around the image. If we don't want the text, such as heading, to wrap around the image, we can use something called clear property. So it can remove the effect from a web page. So it can remove the float effect from the web page. So the valid value for the clear property are right, left, and both. So to clear an element that is floating left, we use the clear left declaration. If we want to clear an element that's floating right, we can use the right declaration. We can use the both value if elements are floating on both the right and left side of the text. Then we use the both. We use clear column both. The next thing that we will talk about is actually using the CSS for the list properties. We use this if we want to control the appearance of the number and bullet list. So we can use the list style properties. List marked with the OL and OL tag display the Arabic numeral 1, 2, 3 and so on before the list item. We can use the list style type property to actually specify a different type of bullet or numbering style if we want to use it. So basically, for example, we can put UL, list style type, we want to use it as square. We don't want it to be as a bullet size. We want to just change it to a square. So in order to specify the position of bullet or number in a list, we can use the list style position property. The default value for the property is outside, which can display the list item with bullet or number outside of the list content block as the following text. We can see lorem like these ones that we have here. So as you can see here, this is the numbering, and then the second line goes directly under it. Some of you might find out, okay, what is this content? Basically, sometimes the web designers, they use this text which starts with this lorem ipsum as a filler text when they want to actually focus on the design and formatting rather than the content of it. So also we can use inside as the value display the bullets or number inside the list content block. So you have it like that. So it's not line up here. You can see it just goes around like this. Also, we're going to talk about what's the benefits of comments to the CSS file. When we create our CSS file, we can include comment about each rule to identify the purpose of it. Comments can actually provide other information about the area where the styles are applied or other explanation as to what this style is for and what they do. So how do we add a comment to it? We actually start with this. When you have a \***, and then you place your comment there and then you close it. So after the forward slash, you have to insert an asterisk. The next thing that we will talk about is basically about how to validate your CSS file. You learned about how to validate your HTML file. So once we have created a CSS file, we need to verify if the code is okay. So when you validate the CSS file, you can confirm that all of the code is correct and follow the established rule of the CSS. So you can actually go to this site and you can actually put the CSS validator in there. So you can start by uploading your CSS file to the validator, and the validator actually review each line and then locates any error, same as you have done it in for the HTML validation. If validation detects an error in your code, it shows some warning message, and it says that they have found the error. So then you can actually fix it and then recompile it again. So this is how you can go to it, same as how you did your HTTP file, and then you just have to do the one with the with the star CSS. This is your CSS file, and then you upload it there, and then you check the button, and it will show you if there is any errors that you might want to fix. And so it is important to actually use the validator so that it can gives you a chance to identify and correct the problems that you have with your file. So sometimes when you upload it, it might just say you don't have any error, or sometimes it can just say, sorry, you have these errors, and then you can fix it. You can identify them, and then you can fix it. So that's it for this chapter. We finished chapter 4. So in chapter 4, you can actually follow the same way as you did in chapter 3. There is going to be a couple of labs that you need to work on. And please make sure that you are kind of going a little bit farther into details. If you don't understand something, go to the W3C website and play around with the with the CSS files. So same as HTML, if you go to, let me just go here. So W3C schools, and then we can go here, learn about CSS, and you can follow the tutorial again. So if you need, we didn't talk about a lot of things yet. We didn't talk about the tables yet. We haven't talked about what else? We haven't talked forms yet, the drop down menus, all that. But we have talked about some of these that you are kind of familiar. Colors, borders, backgrounds, margin, paddings. Please go ahead and practice those. We talked about the CSS box model. We talked about text, fonts, icons, links. So you can try practicing this on this website, and it actually would be very useful for you. If you have any question, please let me know, and I will actually grade your work. And I'm gonna, like, when I grade your work, I'm gonna make some comments, like when I'm grading it, so you know exactly what you got wrong or what is the problem. Okay, have a good week. Take care. Bye bye.